All right, so if we look at the throttle, it still says 100%. So I'm gonna try and figure out how to disable the drive-by-wire. We'll see what's up. Got this little drift motion piece and a supplied Allen wrench. Cool. So now what I gotta do is I'm gonna pull this throttle position sensor off. It's like a whole assembly. 4 screws, 8mm screws, or bolts rather. Unplug the TPS and should come off as a unit. All right, so now that we got that all back together, got it all plugged in. Let's see if this thing has anything different. Hopefully it runs without limp mode. Hopefully the battery's not dead either. Jesus. That don't seem right. All right, guys, so I'm going kind of crazy over here. So I turned the car on, as you guys saw. Idled super weird, so I killed it. And then I unplugged the battery and then plugged it back in, or unhooked the battery and then hooked it back up, just to like kind of like reset the ECU. But then after going back and trying to start the car, no fuel pump, no ECU power. ECU is not connecting to my laptop, so went through all the fuses, went through some wiring, and I only found one thing that's like kind of iffy. I'll show you guys that right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and try and fix this ground in the harness plug, and then I guess we'll kind of see where that gets us. I don't know. I'm kind of just shooting shit now. I don't know really where to look, but this is what I got going on. All right, so dive it into this harness right here. This goes into the standalone. This ground wire was halfway out of the plug. It was super corroded. As you can see, it's just like all bundled up right here. And so I took off this like the pin lock, and this thing was not even a quarter of the way all the way in, so it's not even making contact with the standalone pins themselves. So I'm not sure if that's exactly my issue, but this is definitely an issue, and it should get fixed. I went through everything else seemed pretty good. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this thing in there. I'm gonna just cut the sheathing a little bit further, try and stretch this out, kind of twist it, see if I can get the wire a little bit straighter so I can push it down into this thing and get a good connection. All right, so hook the ground back up, and I guess if we turn the key and we don't hear the fuel pump or anything like that, then we know we're still having some issues. We're still having issues. Guess I can just crank it. Nothing. All right, well, I guess I'll keep diving into this thing and maybe we'll get somewhere. So let's see. Plug that guy back in. Come over here. Hook up my ground. All right, so back at the shop for another day. This is like a 3 or 4 day video, maybe even a week. But so last night I had a friend come over. He knows Jay-Z's pretty well. So we actually ended up going through the harness quite a bit with the voltmeter and a test light. We tested a whole bunch of stuff. Turns out the ECU is technically getting power, but it's just not doing anything with that power. All the relays work. We traced all the wires that basically power the ECU and ground it out, and everything checked out. No broken wires anywhere. So I gave AEM a call today, and they told me one thing I can do, and if that doesn't work, then pretty unlucky situation. I'm gonna have to send out the ECU and possibly get it rebuilt. That's gonna cost around 800 bucks. It's not the 15 it costs, but still a lot of money. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook up this ECU and show you guys what I gotta do. I'm gonna go over here to my rat's nest. I'm gonna go hook up the ECU. This guy, I gotta basically plug this guy in somewhere. I gotta look to see what to do with that. And then it should power the ECU enough to connect it to my laptop. And then after that, I should be able to update the firmware. But if that doesn't work, then clearly the issue is within that. So I'm gonna go ahead, figure this out, and then we'll go over on the laptop. All right, guys, so it's been about a week since I last touched the GS. So unfortunately, I believe that the ECU is actually shot. Don't really know how that happened, just because I really didn't do anything that kind of like it just kind of shit the bed out of nowhere. Maybe I fried a capacitor or something along the lines of that when I jump started it the first time. Maybe it just didn't like all the amperage and the voltage from the jump box. But regardless, I did send the ECU out to AEM last week. They actually got it this Friday. So they're saying about 7 to 10 days. So hopefully it's going to be a little bit quicker than that. They've actually had it for a couple days now, but because it was the end of the week and I don't know, they just said they're going to get to it this following week, which is the week of like July 4th. So hopefully they conclude something, just because been at a standstill. I'm not like unmotivated, but just like the constant problem after problem, just kind of getting to me a little bit. Kind of sucks, but you know, at the end of the day, it will be worth it. And I guess hopefully we see the finish line sometime soon. I feel like I'm kind of chasing my tail, and I hate not being able to put out a video of me actually driving this car. I've had the car for over a month now, and I like literally haven't even got to drive it yet. Pretty disappointing, to be honest, but you know, it's all part of the car game, the car world. I did buy somebody else's project car, so you know, I kind of had to expect something. But obviously, you know, when you buy something like this, a swapped car, you kind of run into stupid issues like this. And unfortunately, this is an expensive, stupid issue, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a brand new ECU, I'm guessing. And from then we can shoot over and get a tune. And then hopefully that means we can start driving this thing. And then after this thing is kind of ready, we're going to go ahead and start on my Miata. It's a 95 1.8. I got a load turbo set up, a Garrett T28 set up from my old SR. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be pretty fun. That car is fun already, so I can imagine it's going to be even funner with a turbo. So give this video a like. Sorry about rambling on. I hate having videos that are like strictly talking, but I diagnosed this car for like hours and hours and hours, and it's just, unfortunately, it came down to something I didn't want to know. But regardless, we'll get there. Just go ahead, drop a like, you know, send a comment. I don't know, the car still looks cool. It's still cool in itself. So I guess I can show you guys one thing that is kind of a positive note. Up the other day, it's a 2015 CRF 250R. Clearly it has some issues. I just pulled the head off of it the other day, so that thing's gonna get crank bearings, new piston cylinder, and then I have to get the head sent out and redone. So hopefully in a couple, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, you guys will see some riding videos. I've been dying to get a dirt bike, and I finally got one. So stay tuned for that. But that'll conclude this video. See you guys later.